Hello folks, and welcome to English 190. This class is going to be a great class. We're going to get together, we're going to work together on building a great research paper, research argument, and we'll do that in phases. So it's kind of like a scaffolding type thing where you build a little bit more, and then you put it all together at the end. So that's kind of how that'll work. And I think you'll appreciate the way it works. I think it works pretty well. So I wanted to do this video to introduce you to a couple things in the beginning in the first module. And I call these videos GEMS videos. So anytime you see a GEMS video, you'll want to check it out because it's me basically. It's mostly for visual learners, but I do mention and talk a little bit about things that you might not find elsewhere, like in the materials. Little hints and tips and things as they come to me. So it would be a good idea to watch these videos because you might catch some little tips or something that help you to be able to really do a great job on your paper, right? So let's go ahead and get right into this. I'm going to go ahead and reduce my image here down, and let's take a look at the first part here. So as you can see here, I'm in the module, for module 1, and I'm on the third module page, which is called resources. That's always called resources. In this case, getting started with research. And so there's a whole bunch of great information here. All these things that are clickable are going to be things to read from the chapter, things that you can use to help you understand how to do argument essays. Down here is library resources, takes you to the library guide. Some videos here for you about research question, which is going to be really important. You got to make sure you create a great research question, and we'll work on that together as one of your assignments, earliest assignments. So other good stuff here is brainstorming. Tell you a little bit about how to do good brainstorming, right? Narrowing your topic, which is going to be a really important one you want to check out. And here's another source down here that's also about narrowing or broadening your topic, whichever you need to do. But most students need to narrow it down a little bit. It's an important note about that. It's easier to write about a topic that is narrower. So the more narrow the topic, the easier it will be for you to work with. If you try to tackle a big, broad topic, for example, if you wanted to write about climate change, well, that's a broad, huge topic that you could write books on, right? So you need to narrow that way down. Find some specific subtopic, maybe even subtopic as far as, like, let's say you want to investigate the effects of CO2, specifically just CO2 in the atmosphere and that kind of thing. And you might even write about how that affects a specific area, like how does this relate just to America or whatever, right? So the more narrow you focus, the better. So keep that in mind. Also, you should check out the academic integrity information. Big takeaway from that is just don't cheat. Obviously, don't take a chance. Don't make sure you give credit. Anything that does not come out of your noggin up here in your head, give credit to it. Okay, and definitely do not use AI in a way that you shouldn't. You know, you're big boys and girls. You know what you should and shouldn't do with AI. For example, I've used AI myself to help brainstorm, do things like that, but never actually let it write your work for you, do the work for you. Okay, use it as a help, but don't use it as a way to cheat, because that will bite your butt in the end. Okay, so let's go to the big reason why I wanted to bring this up and do this video is this thing here. The project's resource assignment is the major thing that you want to take a look at and use for this first week. And I've already pulled it up here, clicked on it, and got it here. So this is what it looks like. And as you can see, it is a PDF document that really gives you lots of insight as to how to do this first week's assignment, and how you'll be using this document throughout the whole term. So it's something you might want to, save it in a folder, or bookmark it up on your bookmarks up here or something to keep it, right? But I'm not going to obviously read it word for word for you. You can figure it out. You can read it yourself. But I want to point out some of the important things. Okay, so basically you got different steps. This things you can read yourself to make sure you understand what to do. But I wanted to kind of go over this a little bit and more detailed to help you understand really what it means and what it's helping you to do. So this is an example of what a student might do if they're brainstorming and figuring out what they want to do for this first assignment. Because the assignment actually will be done in these steps and stuff, right? So the first step is just simply to choose a higher education, or well, not a higher education. You choose a category. Now down here on the lower part of the page is all this other stuff you'll hear me talking about, the categories, right? Major categories, and then the different topics within, or different stuff within those sources and stuff. So first step is to choose one of those categories. So go down there, look at the categories, think about which one you think you would like to work with, and please bear in mind that whatever you choose, category and article that you choose, that's the one you'll be working on, or that's part of what you'll be working on for the whole semester, the whole 8 weeks. So make sure that you choose something that interests you, something that you really want to learn about or talk about. But make sure you choose wisely, because after the first week or so, you won't be able to change your mind. It just won't be feasible. All right, so after you choose your category, then you're going to choose one of the articles under the category. And this person chose higher education, and she reviewed the articles, and she ended up choosing the one, she scrolled down, and she looked at the APA and MLA, and she had, of course, decided which one she wanted to use. That's obviously something you've got to do, right? You've got to choose whether you want to work with APA or MLA, because whichever one you use, that's what you want to use the whole semester, the whole term, a whole 8 weeks. Okay, so you'll choose that right away, and then you'll pick whichever article you want to pick further on down the pages. You'll see the list of articles and their full actual citations. You don't have to look them up. You don't have to create the citations. They're right there for you. All you got to do is, like I just did, highlight it, copy and paste it into your document that you're going to be writing on, right? So notice this one's written by someone named Heredia Rodriguez, Carmen Heredia Rodriguez. This, remember, is an MLA, so that's going to be an MLA citation. Obviously, if you're doing APA, it will look different. But this one is all in MLA. So, step 4, review the article, read it, take a look at it, make notes on it, whatever you need to do with it to make sure you understand exactly what's going on with that topic. And then decide if it's going to be good for you. If not, you might move on to the next, and you'll just work on them until you figure out which one you really want to use. And then once you decide which one you really want to use, you'll do step 5, which is to identify that topic, right? Choose the topic and actually talk about it in this assignment. In this case, they identified the debate topical from their chosen article. It became the focus of their essay. They included this in their assignment submission. In this example, the student chose the debatable topic of adjunct professors should have better pay and health benefits. Boy, can I relate to that. So that's what they chose. That's the article they chose. And then step 6, they brainstorm some possible research questions. In other words, what's the big overarching question that you want to answer about that topic? Now remember, it's the main question, so it's just going to be the big broad topic, the big broad question. You will also later on come up with some minor research questions that will be much more specific and related, and basically what you'll use to help you derive your answer to that big question. Okay, so this topic selection funnel, if you click on that, you'll just see it's basically just a visual breakdown of what what I was just talking about is. So you can use that as an example for that. And then let's see, you can download it or whatever you want to do. But after you've taken a look at that, then you will of course return to your document, and you will go down through here and you will look at the different categories. Categories, of course, higher education, business and finance, physical and mental health, innovative technologies, and the humanities. These are the categories. Now, after you've looked at decided, okay, I think I want to do higher ed, so then you decide which one of these you want to write about. And, of course, that person in the example above chose adjunct professors. But you've got like 6 different things to choose from, right? So you'll choose from any one of these that you think interests you. That's what you'll choose, right? And then once you decided and you know for sure which one of these sources you're going to use, then you'll scroll down a little further, and that's where you'll see the actual full citations. And here's the one that they chose by that Heredia Rodriguez, right? So that's it. It's all basically put together for you here to make it easy for you to create. A lot of what you're going to be doing is just brainstorming, jotting things down for the responses, and then copy and pasting even in some cases. And that's basically what you'll be doing here in the first week. Okay. Now I'm going to take a look at. I'm going to have another video that's going to show you some other things. But right now, I wanted to just make sure you understood how this thing works. And if you have any questions, as always, just let me know. You're going to get tired of hearing me say that, but I want you to know that I am here for you, and I will do my best to answer your questions as quickly as possible. 2 ways to reach out to me: by email, obviously, especially if it's personal stuff that you don't really want to share with anybody else. But if you really would like to share, if you really would like to do something that's, you want to ask a question that everybody could benefit from, then you want to go to the discussions and you want to ask that question right here where it says general questions. You put your question in there, and that way everybody can see it. They could even offer their thoughts on the question or the answer or whatever. Eventually, once I've seen it and maybe given a little time for others to look at it, I will chime in and tell you what my my answer and my response is going to be. But make sure you take advantage of that, okay, so that others can can learn from it too, right? Anything that's not personal, put it right in here in the general questions. Okay, that's it for this first video. If you have anything that you need, let me know. That's what I'm here for.